Hello, everyone, and welcome to Valentin Consulting's YouTube channel. Here live, we are so excited. We are with our guest speaker series, and my name is Dr. Daisy Valentin. I am the CEO president of Valentin Consulting. We are so excited to bring so many different opportunities for you, and here we are at another great series. Now, I always tell you a little bit about me, but we are just going to be jumping right into our guest speaker today because we have some amazing information that she's going to be sharing with us, and we don't want you to miss out on it. Now, don't forget to like and subscribe and click your notifications for you to continue to get notifications about our different events that are happening every week with our different guest speakers. Now, today, I want to introduce you to Lindsey Wiesner, and she has come to us as our guest speaker today. She is so excited to be here as well, I hope. Thank you so much for being here. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Lindsey.
I am very excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me on today.
Thank
My name is
you.
Lindsey Wiesner. I am a certified spiritual life coach. And what I do is I work with clients to help empower, transform, spiritually align their lives, help them understand themselves at a more holistic level: mind, body, emotions, soul. And one of the main things that I focus on is helping people discover what their soul purpose is, what they're here on this earth to do. What do they want to contribute and bring, and how do they want to shine their light?
Well, that is so amazing. So, something that you mentioned to me, and we were talking about this, so I went back and forth asking for different types of topics, and a lot of the guest speakers are like, "Why you want this? Why you want this?" But I'm like, "I want to know what you're passionate about." So, what does having life purpose mean? When we're talking about discovering your life purpose, what does life purpose mean, and how do you think it influences someone's overall sense of fulfillment and happiness?
So, a life purpose, it commonly gets confused. People automatically assume it's, what am I going to do for my career?
Mhm.
And they hit that point. Their highest point is my career. That's my purpose. And that's what I'm here to do. But what a soul purpose is what am I here to bring to this life? What am I here to bring to others? How am I and my sense of being with my story and my background? What do I want to bring to this world? It's that higher level of contribution. And it doesn't have to be anything specific. What I love about it is it's meant to be more like a compass pointing north. It's like your due north point. So I want to bring about joy, or I want to bring about healing, or I want to create beauty, right? So it's this overall essence that allows you to be able to do so much more and encompass many different things that you can do in your life without it being pigeonholed into this very specific, I have to do this job in order to feel fulfilled in my life. And the reason why I feel like it helps people feel so much more fulfilled is because it's and truly deeply personal to the unique individual based off of what they've experienced in their life. And even though other people may have a similar essence to your purpose, you're going to do it in a different way because of your own experiences in life. And it's fulfilling because it gives you so much more opportunities. It opens up that box of, well, if I do this, it brings joy in the world. If I do this, it creates beauty, or whatever it is, it just allows you more opportunity to be of service. And when we're of service and we're out there shining our light and giving out more love and being in alignment with our true, authentic self without all of the societal conditioning of what we were told who we were supposed to be or what we're supposed to do, and be in that alignment, it's amazing what kind of a ripple effect that creates in your immediate environment or the person that you touch that day.
Well, that is amazing. And when you said how life purpose is identified, that's the first thing that I was thinking about, right? I was thinking
Mhm.
about my career. We're thinking about where we're going to be in 5 years career wise, not where am I going to be still living and what am I doing, right? Like what, we have to kind of like think about this stuff. So in your point of view, how does a long-term life purpose differ from a short-term life purpose? And how can someone focus on enhancing that pursuit?
Absolutely. So they're actually one and the same. So you have your long-term purpose and what you want to bring because it's an everyday alignment. And so those short-term goals that you set for yourself, I like to call them aligned action steps or purpose-driven action steps. And it's every day is, am I what I doing today in alignment with what I want to bring to the world? If I want to bring joy to the world, how am I doing that today? And it can be in every aspect of your life. It's not limited to just, your career or your tasks and responsibilities, but even going down to tasks and responsibilities is cleaning your house. I'm cleaning my house today, and being able to reframe that to do task into something that's, I'm cleaning my house today because it brings me joy. It helps bring a sense of inner peace. It's that everyday aspect that can really keep you in alignment and at a higher vibration and in a more positive place of mind.
So when you're talking about that more peace of mind, um, how does someone typically, what are some of the most valuable lessons that they get from this, like from the choices that they make based on their life purpose? Because we need to keep it balanced, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how, you have to embrace uncertainty, failures, things like that, right? Because the first thing that came to my mind, like I mentioned before, when you said life purpose was your career, right? But
Mm-hmm.
now we have to step back. It's not only about your career. So
Mm-hmm.
how do we take that and embrace it, right? How do we take it and embrace it?
Yep. So it takes a lot of work because I mean, I can speak for myself, even as a coach, I have to be incredibly mindful every day of how am I showing up today? And if we're human, we're
Hmm.
sometimes we're going to fall and fail or, have that fear of the unknown. But what's so beautiful about the unknown, the only reason that there's fear is because there's that uncertainty. But what's unknown to us is also endless possibilities. So being okay with accepting and surrendering to that sense of unknown, knowing that it's actually bringing you all of these amazing opportunities, because a lot of the times we can get stuck in, well, I want to know exactly how I'm going to do it and be in control of absolutely everything. And what we can end up doing is actually limiting our own potential without being willing to sit in that unknown of, well, what else can I do?
So that brings me to this question because you
Mhm.
you mentioned something really interesting, and what small changes could someone make in their everyday routine that would bring them closer to living in alignment with their life purpose? Because we have jobs, we have
Mhm.
responsibilities, we have obligations. How does it align with that, with our larger life purpose? Like what would you suggest? Have you experienced it? Like,
Yeah. So, one of the simplest things you can start with is bringing a piece of something that brings you joy into your everyday routine. Or when you're going into work, it's recalibrating that mindset. What am I doing today that I can turn into my purpose and that energy of my purpose? And how do I show up as an individual in that energy, no matter what I'm doing? No matter if it's work, no matter if it's a chore, or if I'm having a conversation, it's an all encompassing energy that helps you stay aligned with who you are authentically. Because it's so easy once we're in our everyday to actually kind of start to lose ourselves a little bit because it's autopilot and we
mhm.
lose that sense of awareness and our sense of self within that state. And having that purpose helps you automatically create that awareness of like, who am I? How am I showing up today? And how can I consciously add value to my life today and to the lives of others based on how I'm choosing to show up?
That's really good because what something that you said is like you gotta not be so predictable,
Hmm.
right? And some people are so predictable.
Yep.
They're just so predictable. And my husband's one of those. Like he's predictable. Like some of the stuff that he does, I already know it's what his routine is. It's so predictable. And it's like, what is your life purpose? And now I gotta tell him what you said. Like it's really important to kind of see those things. Now, what role does self-compassion play in balancing your responsibilities with the pursuit of your passions or life purpose?
So much of it. So much of it. I think we all go into our normalcy, and if we mess up or if we're like, oh, I didn't quite do that the way that it's so easy to beat ourselves up. But it's coming back to that sense of self-compassion is like, I love myself and I know I can do this. And having more, it's that mind talk. It's knowing how you're talking to yourself mentally, because no matter what goes on around you, you may think someone else may think that they are, can criticize you or give you a hard time. But honestly, a lot of us do it harder to ourselves than anyone else can do outside of
Yeah,
ourselves.
I
I
know.
know I'm my worst critic. Even
Yeah.
sitting here doing the interview, I can hear it going on, but I have to stop myself and say, Lindsey, you're doing a good job. So
E-
it's taking that moment and giving yourself more of that self compassion and giving ourselves more credit than what we do.
Exactly, and sometimes we think, oh, um, like you mentioned, oh, I'm doing this interview, I'm doing great. Yeah, you're doing great. We're doing great. Like, or sometimes, I had let me get this other question here because I wanted to really hone in on how do we navigate that? Like, how do we navigate those moments in your personal desires or your life
Mhm.
purpose that feels odd with the demands of your work and responsibilities, like you just mentioned, right? Like if you do something wrong or you didn't get something done or you're expected to do something, right? And then you
Mhm.
don't get it done because there's not enough hours or time in the day. I'm guilty of that. Okay, I am very, very guilty of that. I'll say it here. I feel like I'm a workaholic, right? My life purpose is not being a workaholic.
Mhm.
I really am working hard enough to have a life purpose based on your what you're stating is to be more with my family, right? That is what I want, right?
Mhm.
But how do you navigate those? Like what would you say to someone or have you in your own, experience, how do you navigate that? Like with your personal desires and life purpose and how does it like conflict, like knock it, like, conflict with your work and responsibilities?
Mhm. So it comes down to getting really, really clear of what that energy of the purpose is, right? So when you say that, your purpose would be to be with your family, what is the energy that you're experiencing with your family that is what's lighting you up or fueling you?
Mhm. Mine?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's, I feel like I'm not giving my family enough of me,
Mm-hmm.
enough time,
Mm-hmm.
right? I want to build memories. I want to build opportunities with my family. And that I don't want my youngest to think it's all about work,
So would you say that at the root of all of that, it's creating the connections?
creating the connection. Yes.
Yes. So in a way, with what you're doing with your work right now, doing this YouTube live interview and the connections that you like to create with other coaches or other businesses, you are following with that purpose in your work. You're creating connections. So it's understanding like, okay, if my purpose is connection, how do I create more of that in my life, in all areas of my life? Because you're
Okay.
doing it right now.
Yeah. And I'm trying to do it in different spaces.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to be able to, which I do, like I spend time with my son, but not as much as I want to.
Hmm.
Like I put like intentionally. I guess I think that's the main thing too, is being intentional about your life purpose too, right?
Yep.
Being intentional about what you want with your life purpose is important. And I
Mhm.
think that's where I need to be focusing on is being more intentional. So if I can be intentional with what I'm doing for work, and having all my amazing community leaders come here and speak, I need to be more intentional with that. So I'm being vulnerable here. All
Yeah,
right,
that's
YouTube Live
awesome.
people. It's okay. It's okay to
Yeah,
be vulnerable. We are real people, right? We're real people.
absolutely.
A lot of times individuals don't see us as individual people. They don't see us. They see us, we have these titles. Yeah, I am Dr. Daisy Valentine, but I'm still a real person.
Yep.
I still do the same things you do, just differently in different spaces. We all have different life purposes. If you would have talked to me 20 years ago, that would not be the life purpose because I wasn't a doctor 20 years
Yep.
ago, you
And
know?
that's the amazing thing about a purpose is the purpose is meant to grow and evolve and adjust with you with where you're at. And it can change over time. It's dependent on your own personal self-discovery on where you're at in this moment and just continually allowing it to evolve so that you can evolve and grow and transform and have that point where you're realigning with yourself constantly.
So, in what ways can embracing uncertainty, right,
Mhm.
lead to new opportunities or creative solutions in your life? So, you were just talking about how when people change, depending, like, for instance, 20 years ago, I wasn't the professional that I am today. I
Yeah.
was a professional, but not like I am today, right? So, in what ways can embracing uncertainty lead to new opportunities or create solutions in someone's life?
Embracing the uncertainties allows you to see outside of your own box. And that's what I love about it. I can tell you right now, 2 years ago, I was not doing this. And if you'd asked me 2 years ago if I would be a spiritual life coach, I wouldn't have even understood that that was even my path. I had spent 12 years developing a strong career in the jewelry industry, working my butt off. I literally I had no life but work, and because my mind at that time was if I build this career, I'm fulfilling what I'm supposed to be doing. But then what I found was chasing that wasn't creating any fulfillment because it didn't matter if I got this achievement or did this or did that. There wasn't any heart or soul into it. It was just myself and where I was at that time had a need to prove myself to other people. Well, if I prove this person that I can do this, then I'm all of a sudden going to feel validated within myself.
Oh, see, that's why I try to tell a lot of individuals,
Mhm.
when like you're mentioning, you're in that space, you didn't think about it back then, and so you transitioned. Like
Yep.
myself, 20 years ago, I would have never said, "Hey, you're gonna go get a doctorate. You're gonna finish your master's. You're gonna," I would have never thought about that 20 years
Yeah.
ago, right? I was a single mom, with a few kids at that time. Nobody was thinking about, going back to school or doing anything what I do today. But now it's like, well, what a minute. My life purpose is not to just be
Yeah.
sitting there struggling. My life purpose is at that time, right? My life
Mhm.
purpose back then was to show my kids that, there's more to life than, struggling and just working, working, working and not getting an education. Instead of just telling my kids, oh, you need to get an education so you're not like me. I had to think about, hey, I can do that too.
Mhm.
I can bring that same purpose. And so if they see me doing it, then they can do it too. Because I feel like a lot of times parents are pushing and pushing and pushing their children for
Yep.
this life purpose.
Yep.
And like you mentioned, the life purpose that they're seeking is not a personal life
Correct.
purpose, it's a work life purpose.
Yes.
And I've found over the years that, I have 3 kids total, and each one has a different personality. Each one has different ways, different things. If each one is going to learn or go to school for something different. You
Yep.
know, they're not going to go with what you want them to
No.
do. You know what I mean? So, based on your experience, what would be a good quote as we're ending our session here? What would be a good quote for everyone to take away that can remember to think about their life purpose in life versus a work purpose?
Hmm. It would be,
I got you with that one.
You did.
Or it
You
could be
got me with
one
that one.
word, it could be anything. I mean,
Yeah.
something
Have
that you normally say to a client.
have faith. Have faith.
Have faith. Awesome.
Yeah.
And I am so grateful that you were here today. This was so amazing. It was so fulfilled to hear you. If you are interested in learning more about Lindsey, please, her website and her Instagram, you can follow her on Instagram at New Era Sisters. That's what it's called, New Era
Yep.
Sisters. And you can find her on Instagram. And if you are looking to book with her, just go follow her a website as well. You could get a straight contact with her. And we are so grateful that you are here today. Please like and subscribe our channel so you can continue to hear the awesome guest speakers that we have coming up. You don't want to miss it. Our community is so full with amazing leaders, not only locally, but across the United States. So keep in mind to come and like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.